The night he came home. Ever since 1978, Michael Myers has been a staple in horror with the Halloween franchise. Tonight, I'm going to talk about the original series, plus my thoughts on Rob Zombie's remakes. The first one was directed by John Carpenter, who back then was only up and coming, and at the time he had only directed Assault on Precinct 13 and Dark Star. Halloween was his third directorial movie. This movie is an undeniable classic in the genre. Myers, as a kid, kills his sister Judith. Why? We don't know. The movie never answers that question. It never really has an explicit reason for why he kills. He just does, without any rhyme or reason. That alone is scary. Years later, Myers escapes the sanitarium and goes to Haddonfield and stalks and kills Laurie Strode's friends. Eventually, Laurie is the only teen left and must face off against Michael Myers. Another great aspect about this movie is the character of Dr. Loomis, wonderfully played by Donald Pleasence. The film made Jamie Lee Curtis, who played Laurie, a star, and along with The Fog, which was also directed by Carpenter, and Prom Night, made Curtis a screen queen. The second one isn't quite as good as the first one, but it had effort put into it, and it is a fun movie. The second one was only written and produced by Carpenter. In the director's chair was Rick Rosenthal, who later went on to direct Halloween Resurrection. The film takes place immediately after the events of the first film, still taking place on Halloween night. Imagine that. Laurie is taken to a hospital and Michael follows her. Loomis catches up with Michael at the hospital and sacrifices himself by blowing him, Michael, and the hospital up. Also in the film, we learn that Laurie is actually the sister of Michael Myers. The film is more gorier than its predecessor, which used little to no blood. The film is good, but not quite as good as the first. The third one, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is very interesting, as it has no Michael Myers in it, with the producers attempting to take the series in a new direction, as an anthology series, similar to The Twilight Zone or Tales from the Crypt. However, many reacted negatively to this, and the fourth installment would feature Myers once again. I think the third one is good. The film centers around an evil businessman who is looking to bring Halloween back to its sacrificial origins, which I think is a cool idea. He plans to kill children on Halloween night, with children wearing Halloween masks created by his business. The mask contains a chip that, when enabled, kills the wearer. The film has a lot of cool ideas, and while I don't think the film is the best in the series, it's really good. The fourth one, The Return of Michael Myers, has, well, Michael Myers returning, seemingly unharmed from the end of the second one. At least with Loomis, he now walks with a cane. He targets his young niece, Jamie, played by Danielle Harris. It's neither a good film or a bad film, it's just a really forgettable one. And the same can really be said for the fifth one, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I really don't remember anything about this one. Michael basically tries to kill Jamie with Loomis chasing after him. Basically the same plot as the fourth one. Not much to say about this one. Now the sixth installment is where things get really interesting. The sixth installment, The Curse of Michael Myers, has two cuts, a producer's cut and a theatrical cut. The producer's cut is quite different from the theatrical version. The producer's cut is also extremely rare, and as of this video, has not been officially released. The film revolves around a grown-up Tommy Doyle from the first film, played by Paul Rudd of all people. He's a bit bland in this film, but he obviously improved as time went on, and this was his first role in a major film. I have a soft side for this movie. I legitimately think this movie is entertaining, and the climax is very cool. The strobe light effect is slightly overused, but it still looks cool. The next one, Halloween H2O, 20 years later, retcons the events of the last few movies and takes place 20 years after the events of the second one, so 3 through Curse never happened. Laurie has faked her death and living a new life with a boyfriend and a son played by Josh Hartnett. Michael finds his way home, and the end of the movie involves Laurie fighting back against Michael, eventually decapitating him. The movie is nothing special, but it is nice to see Jamie Lee Curtis back in the role of Laurie Strode. The eighth and so far final film in the original series, Halloween Resurrection, has Michael finally killing Laurie, who is in an asylum after it was discovered that Michael had switched places with a paramedic at the end of H2O. It's just a cheap way to have an excuse for a sequel. The main plot kicks in when two producers decide to make an online reality show, which has several teens spend the night in the abandoned Myers house to find out what drove him to kill. Eventually, Michael enters the house and kills most of the teens. At the end of the movie, he fights with Busta Rhymes. I am dead serious. The characters in the film are bland and idiotic. We just don't care about any of them, and we could care less if they die. The film is entertaining, but forgettable. Now, I'll talk about Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. I don't have the vile hate that everyone else seems to have for them. Then again, I'm a huge fan of Rob Zombie, both music and movies, so maybe that's just me. The first half of this movie, which is basically a prequel, is better than the second half, which is basically a remake of the first one. But it's done well, and I do really like the film. The second one is very weird. It goes all out and it's unapologetic. And I like that aspect of it. And I like the fact that all the characters go through changes. Well, all of them except for Michael, anyway. In some ways, this isn't really a remake. Only the first 15 minutes are really a remake of the second movie. And even then, it's pretty different. I like this movie, not as much as the previous one, but I still like it. So that's my thoughts on the Halloween series. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Next video will be a very special review. How about The Crow? And also, one more thing. Happy Halloween.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets.